Okay, so circle geometry, that's the topic we're doing now, circle geometry. And before we actually go into the circles and the circle theorems, there's some basic geometry that we must know before we proceed to that. So let's go through that. It's about 5 or 6 points we need to take. And the first thing is angles on a straight line are supplementary. Angles on a straight line are supplementary. Now, when two angles are supplementary, it means they add up to 180 degrees. So that's an 80. So if this is my straight line, right, I've got two angles at a particular point. These angles add up to 180 degrees, right? These two angles add up to 180 degrees. So those two angles are supplementary. The next thing is angles around a point add up to 360. So if I have a point here, right, the three angles surrounding that point, right, or 4 or 5, they could be 2, 3, 4, 5, as long as the angles completely form a complete revolution, those angles add up to 360 degrees. So angles around a point add up to 360 degrees. The next thing is vertically opposite angles. So if I have two lines crossing each other, right? Whenever two lines cross each other, they are vertically opposite angles formed. In this case, A is opposite B. So A and B are vertically opposite. So they are equal. So if this was 50 degrees, that would be 50 degrees. This was 60 degrees, that would be 60 degrees. Now, if you are observant, these red angles are also vertically opposite. So this angle will be equal to that angle as well. Now, alternate angles are equal, right? Some call them Z angles, right? Now, these are angles found between parallel lines. So if this line and that line are parallel, right? Parallel means they're pointing in the same direction, and there are these arrows to show that they're parallel. If you draw a line, right, that cuts the two parallel lines, that line is known as a transversal. The transversal leads to the formation of some Z-like, right? This Z has got these angles within it. Those are what we call the alternate angles. So if that was X and that was Y, X is equal to Y, right? These two angles are alternate and they are equal. Again, if you're observant, the angle here and the angle there are also going to be equal. If this is equal to that, then the red angles here are also going to be equal. Now, let's talk about triangles. Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if I have a triangle, the most good looking triangle, but if I have a triangle with X, Y, Z, if I add these angles up, my result should be 180 degrees. So it doesn't matter what kind of triangle it is. As long as it's a triangle, the angles add up to 180 degrees. The last part is now the isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle has got two sides that are equal. So maybe that side and that side are equal. If you have an isosceles triangle, the base angles will also be equal. So these are the base angles here. So if this is x1 and that's x2, x1 is equal to x2. So you need to make sure that when you are dealing with your questions in circle geometry, you are well aware of these 6 basic geometry rules because they appear in all circumstances in different combinations. And sometimes the problem is not with the circle theorem. The problem is with these basic geometry rules that you must know, right? Let's just run through them. Angles on a straight line are supplementary. They add up to 180. Angles around the point add up to 360. Vertically opposite angles are equal. Alternate angles are equal. Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, and base angles of an isosceles triangle are equal. So let's stop there, and then we'll proceed in the next lesson.